Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge by Council Member Justice Ware.
Lord, I'd like to thank you for keeping our citizens safe through the storm. Battery didn't pack as much as the punch as we all predicted. And for the ones that are still recovering from it, I want you to keep them in your prayers as well. Let's say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pro Tem Dan Doyle.
Here.
Councilmember Natalie Lopez.
Present.
Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember David Broussard.
Here.
Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter.
Here.
Councilmember Sherry Guidry. Councilmember Dustin Swear.
Here.
Thank you. Item 1, public comment. We have no comment cards. At this time, I'll ask you to silence your cell phones, and we'll move on to item number 2. Madam Clerk.
Acceptance of the minutes. Acceptance of the minutes of the July 2nd, 2019 meeting as published on July 9th, 2019.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Lewis, second by Councilman Broussard. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, please vote your machines. Thank you. Item 3.
Persons to address the council. First, we have Mr. Bo Boyer announcing his candidacy for the open seat in the Louisiana House of Representatives.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, Mayor, and Council. Thank you all for the opportunity to be with you all this evening. Before I begin, I want to commend all of you. I've had the opportunity over the last couple of weeks, once at the Slyman and another time last week when the mayor was a guest at our Kiwanis Club, to hear the results of everything you've been able to accomplish as a city, and it's quite impressive. I was drawn at the Slyman to the reduction in crime that we've had in New Iberia, and at the Kiwanis meeting I was drawn to the economic development and the businesses that are coming here. And so I applaud you all, and I applaud your leadership. Without strong leadership, none of that would have happened. So thank you all for everything that you do. It is my goal to be part of your leadership team at the end of this year. I'm questing to be the next state representative for District 48 for the Louisiana House of Representatives, which includes much of the city of New Iberia. And so that's why I'm here with you this evening. My service to New Iberia didn't begin as a resume builder for the state representative seat. This is service that I've had to New Iberia for the last 30 years, ever since my early high school days. And it's culminated in the last number of years as we've moved our business here to New Iberia. And I'm here tonight to let you know that I'm ready to take the next step as your state representative. People continue to ask me, Bo, why would you want to do this to your wife, to your 4 kids, to your business partner, to your extended family, when things are so difficult in Baton Rouge? And I continue to let them know that it's because things are that difficult in Baton Rouge that I continue to be called to compel to serve, and to serve at a different level. We need someone who's got a strong background, who's got a strong business acumen, and who can make decisions for the city of New Iberia and for all of District 48 in Baton Rouge. We started my company, CoSource. It was 18 years ago last month. Although my family has grown up in New Iberia for multiple generations, going back to the Raphael Segura days, I am a first-generation business owner here in New Iberia. And that business background, the rolling up the sleeves and growing that business for the last 18 years is the same business experience that I'm going to bring to you to the Capitol. I'd like to continue the efforts that you have done as a city, and to be your voice for the people in Baton Rouge. I was joking at a neighborhood watch meeting a couple of weeks ago that said, but joking, but also fairly serious about it. The three most important things to me in this race are economic development, economic development, and economic development. Most everything that you here debate can be solved with good economic development policies and things to attract businesses to the city of New Iberia. So I know you have a long agenda. I'm here to ask you all for your support. I'm here to ask you for your vote. And if there's nothing else, I'll open the floor for questions.
Questions? Dustin?
Mr. Boyer, thank you for coming in front of us here tonight. The question I have for you is pretty simple. You mentioned it a few times, talking about the city, the community, where we are right now, and also the state, on the state level. Mm-hmm. When you say that it's troubled in a way, what are you going to do as an elected official on the state level to look after the city of New Iberia? What are you going to bring to the table, in other words? Great question.
Just to be clear, I grew up in the city of New Iberia. I grew up off the Lower Railroad, not too far down from the mayor. I was raised in the city of New Iberia and live about a half a mile from the city of New Iberia currently. We moved our company 7 or 8 years ago from Lafayette to the city of New Iberia. So all of my interests are here in the community in which we all live. Everything that I do in Baton Rouge would be with the city of New Iberia at the forefront and with the concern of everything with the residents in New Iberia. When water falls in the city of New Iberia, it doesn't realize that it's flowing through the city pipes and into the parish pipes, or even into state waters for that matter. The business, economic development that happens here in the city of New Iberia, people reside in the parish and vice versa. When things happen statewide, big industrial projects, it benefits us here in the city of New Iberia. Everything that I will be doing will be a focus on trying to continue to grow business here and to grow rooftops here in the city of New Iberia.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Bo. I love the name Bo.
Mm-hmm. We were just joking back. If I could get everybody to read Boyer and be able to pronounce it, I'm a shoo-in.
What does your company do? I'm not familiar with the company CoSource.
Great question. I'm glad you asked that. So 18 years ago, we created in June of 2001, right before 9/11. What we do is we're financial advisors whose keen focus is on business retirement plans. So for the last 18 years, I've done business development for our company. Our clients go from New Orleans all the way to Houston, up and down Highway 90 and I-10, and even into Oklahoma. We spend all of our days visiting with employees of all walks of life, educating them on how important it is to be able to retire. So whether you work in a fab shop, you're a truck driver, you work in one of the sugar mills, you name it. We've been in all these different places, port docks, we've been on heliports, on work boats, visiting with employees and with business owners as well, learning what keeps them up at night and keeping them from being able to save for their family and to have a prosperous retirement. So to answer your question, we educate employees on how important it is to be saving for their retirement.
So it's fair to say you're a people person and you know the needs of the common working man.
No ifs, ands, buts about it. So the key to our success has been being able to sit down with that welder and to be able to understand what keeps them up at night, but also the burdens that they have with everyday living. I mentioned earlier I have 4 kids. I understand what a gallon of milk costs. I understand what it costs to feed them. I understand what it is. The kids have all played Little League and travel ball and you name it, dance. We just had one graduate, finished with dance finally. Sorry, my daughter's back there. But so I understand what all these expenses are. We deal with it not only personally, but deal with all of our employees. And I can echo their sentiments very, very well from Baton Rouge and know what every common person is feeling when I'm up there at the Capitol.
Well, I reside in House District 96. Representative Terry Landry, and he's been a great representation for us. Got a chance to meet Taylor. I know he's done a good job, been the ambassador of New Iberia, and I wish you all luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Councilman.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. If you're elected and go to the state legislature, how will you work with Democrats and independents?
That's a heck of a question, because we've had a contentious time in Baton Rouge, and it seems to be that people are having even more and more difficult times getting along because of party lines. I think it's important that we all roll up our sleeves together and we all get to work together. And I feel, to be an effective legislator, it's more important that I understand the other side of the aisle than my own agenda, because if I need the other side of the aisle to get past the legislation that we need, especially for projects here in our community, I need to understand what the other side of the aisle is thinking in order to pass that legislation. And the key word throughout all of this is effective leadership. So when you hear me talk, or when you hear me discuss these items, the key word is being effective. I'm not up here to be loud. I'm not interested in just being loud for the sake of being loud. I want to be effective. If I can walk in this room and you not know I was here, but I accomplished the goal that I set to do, I'll walk out of here knowing that the goal was accomplished, rather than walk in here and be real loud and not accomplish the task at hand.
Thank you.
Anything further? Well, we can't thank you enough for coming.
Thank you all for the hospitality.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, 3B.
Okay, we have evangelist Donovan Davis to announce the annual street crusade and voter registration drive for the formerly incarcerated.
Amen. Bless the Lord. How are you doing? Amen. Great. We have a new chapter push, transition mentor and aftercare program, presented by President Reverend James Broussard and Vice President Reverend Wilford Johnson. We always do annual street crusade revivals, but this one is going to be different. We got inmates dealing with formerly incarcerated inmates, persons, House Bill 636, who've had their voting registration rights fully restored back to them as incarcerated persons. And this is going to be their day. We're going to celebrate them and them receiving their voting rights back to them. So the annual Street Crusade Revival and Voters Registration Drive is going to be for formerly incarcerated people. It's going to be Saturday, July 27, 2019, from 11 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. on the corner of Hopkins Street and Robertson Street, New Iberia, Louisiana. October 27, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the corner of Hopkins Street and Robertson Street. Amen. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
You want me to read?
No,
I can't.
no, I'm joking. Madam Clerk, item 4.
Proclamation on behalf of Iberia Comprehensive Community Healthcare Center declaring August 4th, 2019 through August 10th, 2019 as National Health Center Week and being accepted by Ms. Briggs, Administrative Assistant.
No, she's not here. By Michelle.
Oh, by Michelle?
Michelle, yes.
Okay.
Come on up. I'll go ahead and read it. Whereas for over 50 years, community health centers have provided high-quality, affordable, comprehensive, primary, and preventative health care in our nation's underserved communities, delivering value to and having a significant impact on America's healthcare system. Whereas as the country's largest primary care network, health centers are the health care home for 28 million Americans in over 1,100 communities across the nation. 1 in every 12 people in the United States gets their care in a community health center. Whereas every day health centers develop new approaches to integrating a wide range of services beyond primary care, including oral health, vision, behavioral health, and pharmacy services to meet the needs and challenges of their communities. Whereas health centers nationally employ more than 220,000 people, including physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, certified nurse midwives, who work as part of multidisciplinary clinic teams designed to treat the whole patient. Whereas health centers reduce overall cost of care by helping manage patients' chronic conditions, which keeps them out of costlier health care settings like hospital emergency rooms. Whereas health centers are on the front lines of emerging healthcare crises, providing access to care for our nation's veterans, addressing the opioid epidemic, and responding to public health threats in the wake of natural disasters. Whereas National Healthcare Week offers the opportunity to celebrate America's over 1,400 health center organizations with over 11,000 service delivery sites, their dedicated staff, board members, patients, and all those responsible for their continued success and growth since the first healthcare centers opened their doors more than 50 years ago. Whereas now, therefore, I, Freddie the Court, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of the city, proclaim National Health Center Week, August the 4th through August the 10th, 2019. I encourage all Americans to take part in this week by visiting their local health center and celebrating the important partnership between Americans' health centers and the communities they serve. I don't have a copy for you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Now we move on to item 5.
Recommendations from Planning and Zoning Commission. A, recommendation for resolution to abandon a utility easement as shown on a final plat of approval at location G and running parallel to Dortes Drive, as granted by the New Iberia City Council by resolution number 00-040 on July 18, 2000, entitled Terry McGar's 615 Interlaken Drive, New Iberia, Louisiana 70563, by Carol G. Westbrook, PLS, of LaBiche, Westbrook and Associates, dated July 12, 2000.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Lopez. And who had the second? Councilman Swear. Do we have any discussion on this item? Hearing none, please vote your machines. Thank you all. Madam Clerk, 5B.
Recommendation for resolution of final plan approval to re-subdivide Lanyap Village Shopping Center property into lots Z1, Z2, and Z3, portion of section 37, Township 12 South, City of New Iberia, Iberia Parish, Louisiana, by Dating Marquez and Associates LLC, dated June 20, 2019.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. Do we have any discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
maybe we could show people it is for real. The
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is on the map,
That's it.
and it's being right next to Checkers.
That's it. That's it. And they're buying the property. What we're doing this far is they're not leasing, they're purchasing. So that's a great thing. Go
I
ahead.
think half of my phone calls will be, I won't get no more because that's all they've been calling about. That's a good thing. So anyway, thank you.
Good. Any other remarks?
Well, just to make that comment clearer to everybody,
Had a motion.
because we know what's on the back of the
Yeah, we
paper.
did.
Chick-fil-A is coming.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
In language, Chick-fil-A is coming.
Yes. Anything further? Great. Please vote your machines.
It doesn't come, nobody get elected.
All right. We're ready for that chicken. Now we move on to item 6, discussion items.
Announcement
6A.
by the mayor of a Christmas movie being filmed in New Iberia for showing on the Lifetime channel.
This is something I just wanted to let the community know because we're going to need some help. Filming starts on August the 12th. It's something we've been working on for about a month now. They signed the MOU last week. They are coming. We're in the process of giving them everything from bed and breakfast rates to block rooms at hotels to there will be a website that'll be up pretty soon for anyone interested in auditioning for parts or who has something to offer, business-wise that they think it might be a fit for the movie industry. But we're excited about it. It's a film. It was written for us. It's set in New Iberia. It's on the Lifetime channel. It'll be out this year. So filming starts August the 12th. They're going to do August the 12th through the first week of September and be done. So it's a pretty quick thing. I'm very excited about it. I think it will do nothing but promote our community in a positive light. We have film incentives. It's something that we set up about 6 or 7 months ago. That was a portion and one of the reasons why they decided to come. I think it can do nothing but be positive. And to all those people on KTC who put those negative comments, because we have over 400, and I never really talk about this, but about 300 of them were pretty darn lame. We know the special community we live in, and our community is growing, our community has changed, our community has come together like never before. Our crime stats show it. The amount of new businesses that are coming show it. The amount of excitement in our town, in our community. The amount of people who are stepping up to get involved in leadership of this community. So I couldn't do it without the council, without everybody involved, but I just thought it would be fun to put it out there. And I wanted everyone to know that, all our Christmas decorations have to come up. I got it in writing. I'm not on crack. It is July, and we've got to put up our Christmas decorations. So in the next few weeks, the trio come up downtown. Clico has to do with putting the power back on and everything from the storm. They will, before the 12th, put up a couple of blocks of the Christmas decorations. We are going to be shooting all over. I mean, from City Hall to the Steamboat Warehouse to the gazebo. They've picked out a couple of private residents already. It's just going to be fun. There's a lot of 2 or 3 businesses downtown will be featured in it. They'll use some of the shots there. So it's just going to be exciting. I think it's good for our community. So we also have to put all the lights in the trees on Main Street. So that's where I'm going to kind of tap maybe some of the civic organizations and see if I can't get a little help. Because they can't burn them out. Christmas is coming. We have to get, we want to look good for Christmas. And, of course, all this has to come back down because we're blessed with the Sugarcane Festival, the Gumbo Cook-Off, so many good events. So if I could leave it up, some communities have actually done that. Put them up in July, August, September, and just left them up. We don't have that privilege because we are fortunate to have so much activity in our downtown. But I just wanted to get it out there and give the council time to comment on it and, let people know it's coming. Any comments? Yes, sir.
I got a couple of questions. My dad watches Lifetime religiously, so he actually can have a part in the movie, even if it's
He gets
in the
to
back somewhere.
he gets to audition.
Another-
They are going to have some cast calls and
Good. I might have to throw that at him. But also, I want to know if they asked the pro team to be Santa. Did they?
I'm not big enough.
Oh,
I'm on a diet, so they said I was too skinny.
oh, okay. Well, other than that,
But Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you announced that because, if you started putting those decorations
Yeah,
up,
they'd
they're
look
going
out
to
of
say, is he
town.
nuts? And I didn't want to say, yeah, he is,
Yeah,
So that was
I
a
hear you.
good way out of it. But excited. I know you put a lot of work into it, Freddie, honestly. And it sees things like that makes New Iberia going in the direction it's going. Honestly. It's a big deal. It
is.
really is a
It
big
is.
deal. Thank you. So
Thank you.
yep.
Okay, I'll get you after everybody else.
Okay.
Anybody else? Yes, Natalie.
I just have one comment, I guess, for the city, for the residents, because this is very exciting, and it's a big opportunity. But I hope this will maybe encourage everyone over the next 2 months to really try to keep the city as clean as possible, because we want to make the best impression we can. Because we would certainly like other movie industry companies to want to come over here and do stuff. So just be cognizant of the city and the aesthetics and how pretty it really is, and let's really try to make a good impression. It's getting better and better, and I know we have this setback with the storm, but like in my district, like I noticed today, like everybody's like already has their stuff cut up at the road. They're like, when are they coming pick up? Like just real excited and proactive. And it just makes me just feel good about where I live, that everyone's taking care of it so fast. So just food for thought.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, this is
Hang on one at a time.
this is like New Iberia on steroids. Chick-fil-A and then a movie, especially because we had because we had the movie James Lee Burke's movie that was filmed here, right?
The Electric Mist.
The Electric Mist. I know Miss Brenda was able to have her restaurant featured, or either he went eat there a few times, what have you. But that Tommy Lee Jones ate there, and so it's a good opportunity. I just hope, and because there is development on the west side, I hope that we can get some promotion to get some cameras over there to highlight some of the good things we have on the west end. We do have some good things on the west end. We have a beautiful park. We have some of the restaurants that are just amazing. I don't know if y'all visited them lately. We have Refs, we got Moore's, we have Anointed Soul Food. Stop by my barber shop, get a mustache trimmer, whatever you need. With Bill Russell's. We here. We trying to lift up the community as well. And if this could help us promote the West End and encourage us to lift up our community, then I hope it serves as a catalyst for that as well. So good job on that, because I know that's you being an ambassador for the community. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Mr. Broussard.
Freddie, Ms. Jane, through the years, y'all have helped Main Street be a real good seller of all this. And they have several other towns that could have picked to do this. We're proud they picked New Iberia, but thank you, Ms. Jane, and the department heads and everybody that makes New Iberia what it is today. And Mr. Mayor, thankful to you.
Yes, sir. Anything further? Yes, Dustin, you had another.
On a serious note, you mentioned civic groups about, I can, being a member of Kiwanis, I know Key Club, being that Mr. Boyer is also in the room, handles that as well. Key Club would be probably willing to come and help out and give a helping hand to get this thing situated. So
Good.
I'll reach out to them as well.
Okay, thank you. That would help. Any
Right.
civic group that wants to help, I do. I need them.
Okay.
I have a question. Is it just gonna be, the downtown area, or are they gonna go all over?
I
the
showed them
island?
both parks. I showed them all downtown. They're very interested because the bayou runs through town. Other things, I can't give away everything, but there'll be a boat parade, which I would love to see come back. So I'm going to kind of use some of this as a catalyst. I got to read most of the script. There's a Christmas market. I always wanted for us to have a Christmas market. So I'm hoping to use some of this stuff from the movie as a catalyst to begin to either do those things again or have something new in our community. So it focuses, I don't ever watch those movies, but from what I hear, people have told me, most of them focus on small towns and do a lot in the downtown area. So downtown is a big focus. The bayou was an even bigger focus because that's kind of a central theme of it. So I am hoping they spread out all through town. I'm hoping that these connections that we're making with all of these producers and movie people and editors and directors is going to lead to more. That's why we 7 months ago did those film incentives so that we could start competing with other communities. So I'm hoping this is a start, and believe me, I am already trying to sell them on something else, but one at a time. But this one I think will be centered around most of the downtown. But I did show them both parks. They thought both of our parks were, just amazingly beautiful. They are looking, they weren't positive. I don't say it's still being written because it was written before they got here, but they are changing it to fit our community. So that's why I'm trying to show them everything I can. And I've been it's leaking out. Well, we put a press release out finally, and that's gotten some good response. But even the week before, few people found out, and they've offered their homes and their businesses. And so all we're doing is collecting all the data, collecting all the pricing, let's say on the bed and breakfasts or whatever, and I'm just getting it all to them. They will make those decisions. But I am hoping that, if not this one, the next one goes all over town. Great. Well, thank y'all. I just thought it was a good time to put that out there.
Hey, Fred,
Yes, sir.
you're missing a treat, man. Binge watching Lifetime on Sundays is the best.
All right. Well, I might have to try. I'm pretty sure I'll be watching it pretty soon. Thank y'all very much. Now we move to 6B.
Discussion of the fire department's involvement with public assistance of aqua dams.
I put this item on because this is the second time since I've been the mayor that people have bought aqua dams, which they fill up with water to protect your property from flooding. We have a resident who has one, and we have a commercial business. They have called and asked us if we can fill them because the quantity of water it takes really comes out of a fire truck or a fire hydrant. We have, after talking to Jeff, after making some calls, it's something that we have done, but we've done it where they have to pay for it. I mean, it's a service, but as if our cops who work at IMC, if you go to IMC, we do the security. If you go to Super One, we do the security. Off duty, they are allowed to use their unit and their uniform, and they represent us while they're doing that security, and they're paid directly. This is a case where something like that, we are providing a service, but because it's for a business, well, they need to pay for it. I just wanted to bring it up. If we had fires, we're not going to fill the aqua dam, okay? If we are inundated with other type of emergencies, we can't do it. If too many people buy them, okay? If we end up with 100 aqua dams in town, something's going to have to break. We are preparing for a storm. They are putting that up at the same time that we are prepping to get ready for the impact of a storm. But when we can, it's something that I don't mind doing. The chief, cleared it. He looks at the situation. He runs that department. Pretty well, our chief is on top of things, and he knows if he can go and do that or not. As the storm starts closing in, the window closes, and then we just won't be able to. But I thought I should bring it up just because it is something that is a service, but at the same time, it's a little unusual. It's only for hurricanes. I don't think people are, I mean, these things probably cost $10,000, $15,000. I don't think too many people are going to be doing it, but I thought we should have a discussion about it. Jeff, you want to add anything?
No, we had one that we filled, I don't know, a year and a half ago maybe,
Probably, yes, sir.
and we did it kind of on an emergency basis before we had a storm coming in, and then we got a call from that same landowner this time to ask us about that. So I contacted the ethics people and the Attorney General, or reached out to the Attorney General, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think the council ought to be aware of it. If we get full value for the services, if those services are available and personnel are available, I don't see anything wrong with doing it. But we wanted to bring it to the council because, you know, if you guys had any serious questions or objections, we wanted to hear about it. I think there was another commercial business that had one. I saw a picture of the paper, I think, of somebody on Center Street that's got one. I don't think it's going to be widespread, but we just wanted you to know if you see a truck out there doing this, that's what's going on.
Any discussion on that? Yes, Natalie.
Ooh, you're throwing me way out. And I surely don't want to talk about this for an hour.
Okay,
But
I got time.
I know, but I don't. So it's like I want to speak, but I don't want to get us in a wasp's nest here. But a spider web. But what about like liability issues? We're on their property. What's this aqua dam made of? What if we pop the thing? Like I heard one person talk to me about it, and they were like, "Yeah, there's these blow up things people are putting in front of their houses." That's all I know. And it's like y'all are saying they cost $10,000-$15,000. Well, it's like, and I'm not trying to be negative, but it's like if you can afford an aqua dam for $10,000 or $15,000, I feel like you should have the resources to fill your aqua dam. I mean, I'm not trying to be ugly, but that's like if a business runs out of gas, but we keep backup gas at the city. I mean, we can't give gas to everybody. You know, I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay, that's why we talking about
You know, and how do we build them? And then, of course, they're not going to be charged a sewer fee because it doesn't go through the sewer, but it really does because it drains into the street, and the street goes. The street doesn't go through the sewer plant.
Please don't say
But
that.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I messed that up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I just, it's, you know, things become a problem when you make special circumstances for just, we're talking 2 people in town.
So far.
I don't know who they are. I don't want to
That's
know.
not, yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's more.
Yeah,
it's
I don't-
More, should we be doing this?
I
or
don't
is it
want to
something-
know, but
a
I mean, I
service we gotta
just,
provide?
it's like, so we do it. So next year there's 4 people,
Then we'll
and
pick
the
people.
storm's coming, but the 2 people who got them filled last year think they should get the water first because they are like veteran people with the aqua dam. I mean, seriously,
That's why we have a
seriously,
discussion.
that's how things happen. Next year, 3 more people have it, and Gordon's like, well, I can't because I got number 1 and 2 made me promise them that I was gonna be there first for the next storm because that's gonna be the 3rd time I fill that aqua dam.
I understand.
I mean, we got stuff to do, people, especially in the storm.
Well, we're never gonna jeopardize the safety of
I
what we
know,
do.
but it's just.
But still, it's no, it's all valid.
But we say we're not going to jeopardize the safety, but it's like, who's to say that they're at this location and something goes down, a fire starts at this location, and they would normally be at the station, but they're over here.
I see the chief. Yeah, come on up, chief.
I
and
know
tell
it's
us-
a rarity,
and tell
but
us-
it's
no,
like,
come on,
say
come
you-
up, chief,
say
and
you
tell us
filling
how
up
we are
somebody's-
always covered.
Damn, and with the
No,
truck.
actually, I mean, when it started, anytime you take on a different project, I had all the same concerns, so it's not that big a,
Yeah.
yeah, but we kind of worked them out, and now, I'd assume what's gonna happen in the future if this becomes a trend, is we're gonna have to have the homeowner or the property owner sign a cooperative endeavor agreement, relieving the city, just like when we go in and install smoke detectors. If it does get out of hand, we're gonna have to adjust the rules, and it's not gonna be, you know,
But
first.
we didn't do that this time.
Well, those.
So say so-and-so doesn't want to pay their water bill for their
Well,
aqua dam this year.
It doesn't come from us. Like in these instances, what's happened is we use hydrant pressure. Local, they contact Local puts a meter on the hydrant, and their water bill's gonna be quite expensive. there's different types. There's types that you buy a sub pump, you put it out on the street, and as the water comes up, you don't need us to help you. As the water comes up, it pumps and it fills those dams, and you pump out the water on the other side. Some people have the ones that, you know, those are more expensive. So I'd assume more of the ones that need to be filled. You know, if it's your house, you know, it's not gonna take that long. I mean, you're talking about 3 hours to do 1,000 feet. You know, a small house, if you had one of those things, I think it would take an hour. But if you lay it out, you know, once we understand how it works, I think they can be filled pretty quick. And it doesn't take a lot of manpower, just because it's, you know, just basically holding a hose into the
And
bag.
what's their other option if we don't go and do it?
They might be able to contact I mean,
I'm adamant. I want to know. That's a legitimate
I don't
question.
know.
If we say no, we can't do it, and you bought an aqua dam
And
with
don't have
what
nowhere to fill it.
perception
Yeah.
of who was gonna fill it? I wouldn't spend $15,000 on something that I didn't know how I was gonna fill.
I mean, we have surplus hose that we haven't gotten rid of. I mean, I guess it could be an option. It'd be a strange option, but I can let you use that hose. It's gonna leak because it can't be used for fires, but you're gonna lose a lot of water. But, you know, you can use that, hook it to the hydrant with Locko's
And we're talking
permission.
about charging for water. Are we charging for labor, or we're not?
Labor.
Because
I know,
they
we're
pay
labor.
taxes.
Locko's water.
We're
not
charging for
water.
labor.
We're charging for labor. We're getting all our costs out of the deal.
Okay.
We couldn't do it.
And it's not
And we're calling Jeff
Look,
now.
yeah, during these emergency situations, I mean, we try and do as much as we can, and this is just one of those things that pop up as technology kind of moves out there. It's something I think we can work out all the kinks, which I don't think there's the biggest kink is like if you go, say all of y'all charging $30 an hour. Well, in my case, it's a little harder to do the bill because every person has a different hourly rate depending on how long they've been here. So, but we put all that in the bill, and I'm gonna send it to them and
Yep.
get our money back.
You have anything else you want to hear from Jeff?
I had another question.
Okay, that's fine. You got the floor.
Hold on, give me one second. I just flew out. I'm not gonna ask the rape on TV. I'm gonna leave that alone right now.
Censor us that.
But no, like I said, my other question is, so yeah, okay, we getting ready for a storm. You know what you need. You know what trucks you need to have where for a storm, and you have 2 people out doing water dams. That's what I'm saying, filling up aqua dams or whatever. And you know, the St. Peter Street truck is down on Center Street filling up a dam, and a fire breaks out on Main, and the train's passing. Mr. Broussard done got me hooked on the train thing.
Oh man, now we're going to the weeds.
No, but I'm so serious though. You have 30,000 residents in this city that pay taxes for a fire department for
And that's why we have truck stays all over and fire
for
stations.
fire, and that's my other thing. Like, so what? We got to break this down to get over there.
No.
Like, what?
No,
What is the plan?
I mean, luckily we've been around for 150 years dealing with this,
understand, but the
dealing with
public
this
would wanna
city.
know that if I was at home
So we
watching
have
it.
we maintain 5 different stations. There's always one on the side of the bayou, one between the tracks and the bayou, one between the tracks. There's always positioning of trucks to make sure that we're never blocked off. I'd assume if it's something small like a residential dam, we send them out on a pickup truck. We don't send them out in a pumper.
Okay.
They'll, like what we did on this occasion, all the hose went out on a pickup truck with a driver. They actually did get a call. Well, that driver that's in the truck stayed with the pickup truck, and the pumpers left.
Okay.
So
Well,
we
see, I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's-
we
people need to know.
yeah, we're not gonna
You said
jeopardize
you're going
public
for aqua
safety.
dam. I don't know what you're going in. The public at home doesn't
No, I
know
get it.
what
I
you're
didn't.
going in.
First time I heard it, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, okay, so we're not using our trucks that
No.
we use to fight fires.
No.
Well, that is a little bit of a game changer for me. I mean, look, Chief, I trust your decision
Oh, I know.
making emphatically. You know that.
Chief knows his business.
You know that, but I mean, like I said, the people at home,
You're right.
I always try to put myself there. I have to be here, of course, physically, but when we have things we're talking about and people here, I have to put myself there to make sure that they get as much as they can from the meeting. besides, you know, whatever paragraph Corey decides to write.
That is correct.
Thank you, Corey.
I think we ought to treat this
Hang
thing
on,
like we
speak.
do.
Are you finished?
Yes, I am
Thank you,
done.
thank you. I guess, yeah, Jeff had his hand up patiently, so hang on, I'll get to you. Jeff?
Well, yeah, the first time this came up, it was a business location that had flooded. So we knew there was a serious problem. They were trying to prevent that from happening again. So they kind of came to us at the last minute. You can't do this with a garden hose. You know, you got to do it with high pressure. So that was the first time. The second time, it was the same location that came back to the city. And we decided that before we had this thing involve a lot of different properties, before other people did the same thing, we would take it to the council. And that's exactly why, this discussion is exactly why we wanted to do that. So, you know, as a matter of policy, the city could do it or not do it. It's kind of like the private security that we do with Super One and the hospital. You know, the public safety comes first, but it does provide a service to the public that the public, you know, will pay for. So that's why we wanted to bring this before the council. I don't think this is going to be a practical solution all over town. It's expensive, and I don't think we're going to have much of this. But for those people who want to do that, especially in areas that have flooded, which was the case, you know, with this property that I'm talking about, you know, it could be a practical way to help people avoid damage. So that's why we brought it up.
Great. Mr. Broussard, then I'll go back around.
I think we need to keep out the business of getting into this while it's young. If it takes pumps, have somebody that's Iberia rental. You know, have pumps. Come to the water meter. Have them meter show how much water's coming out. They fill swimming pools. We don't want to go and get involved in that. So I think we should be not getting involved at all. If you want to put it up, have a way to have your own pump, buy the water from the meter, and it's their problem. You know, I mean, I hate to say that, but it's, you know, you bought the thing individually to put around your property. You know, feel away how you gonna fill it up. It's not the city's problem to go help. And it'll be more and more abuse to our system of fire trucks and everything else. That's just my feeling, that if you're gonna buy it, have a pump ready to, you just buy the water out the meter and pump it in your thing. You know, that's my feeling on that. We should cut it off at the early sections of this, because it gets more and more and more where it's gonna stop, you know. But have your own pump. You have to use pressure to pump it up. Put that in your cost of buying the whole thing around your place. And you pay the water coming out the meter. And we keep out of it 100%.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard. Got anything else? Is it? All right, Dan.
Well, you know, the fire department does a lot. I mean, during the hurricane, they went help at the hospital. They have a problem in nursing home, they go help.
Certainly.
And I think our major function is to put out fires, but other than that, I think helping people out to protect their homes, they can come back and say, look, the city is not giving me the right drainage. Y'all flooding me.
Yep.
So I think it's something, and we gotta put a lot of faith in the chief and the mayor to make the decision when we can do it, because something like that can be done in advance before the hurricane gets here. But I think there's a lot of things that the fire department does, no different than the police department, that people don't have aware of. And you know, Chief, it took a lot of manpower and hours to help the hospital. But if you had something else major going on, you made the decision if we can do that or not. So I think anytime we're going to help a taxpayer to save their property because we don't have the sources to give them the right drainage for the area, I think who's flooded in the past is going to flood in the past. I don't think we're going to add any new ones. And since it's an expensive piece of equipment, I don't think it'll be something that every neighborhood will be doing. So I don't think it's and then talking about, it's not the fire trucks, it's really the manpower to help them do it with LARCO. And if we charge them for our services as LARCO does, I think it's a win-win. And I really believe, since it's so expensive now, I think it's going to be a handful of people. But, you know, you go and lose part of your office or your home with floods, that's a cheap thing to put to help prevent that. So I'm in favor of doing anything we have to do at the direction of you and the mayor to make the call when to do it. But something like this can be done prior to, you know, before hectic happens and the hurricane's on you right away. So I just think it's a good thing and it's a service we can do, and it's not putting our trucks out there, as you mentioned, it's putting our smaller vehicles to help, you know, someone save their property. That's just how I feel about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Dustin?
Yeah, I actually have a resident that's been having an aqua dam on his home for the past
Couple
2
years.
years. And so I sympathize with him. So the residents there are taking precaution because it's been up for 2 years. I believe that as a government or a body that we're somewhat responsible for their taxpayer dollars for drainage. And I believe that we're doing a great job at improving that drainage. We've been doing that since we've been on this council. Public Works been doing a great job at it. But when you bring up the price of the aqua dam, where does it come in? Where the price to rebuild their home or the price to redo all those other things they had to do, not once but twice. So thanks to the mayor, Jeff, and to Mr. Leroy and the adjacent property owner that we're finally going to make some headway. That way they can remove that aqua dam for good and not have to rely on what we're talking about right here. But it takes a lot of manpower to do those aqua dams. I've seen him operate it himself, and I sympathize with that family for having to do that. So, but that's all I wanted to bring up. Y'all did all brought up great points, but that's all I really have to say on that. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dustin, where's that aqua dam? I want to go see it.
It's actually on Victory Drive.
Victory Drive?
Victory
My
Drive.
house.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
We have a drainage project
Sure.
right behind it.
Right.
Yes, yeah, well, we
I
found,
Googled it while we were
Yeah.
talking. I saw one on the
we
website.
finally, after much time, got the
Thank you.
right of ways to be able to go and do some work, and that's coming.
So, I heard
But in the
some good-
meantime, you know, you're right, the property owner took steps to protect his property, and it wasn't our fault we couldn't get the right of ways, and we can't work on private property, but the homeowner had to protect his property some kind of way, so, you know. Anyway. I'm sorry, Marlo, you still have the
No,
floor.
I heard some good points. I wasn't familiar with aqua dam. So people are using it around homes now and not just businesses.
Correct.
So it's the constituents' choice whether they want to get this to protect their property or their business or what have you.
Certainly.
And all we're doing is providing a service. And our service is basically taking the man to hook up a hose to the water hydrant
Labor to fill.
and charge labor to fill that aqua dam
Yeah.
at an expedient rate. Time consuming, and no disrespect, they don't have to go to Iberia rental, and they don't have to wait in line for the pump, and they don't have to do these things to get that thing filled. However, I wanted to also ask the question, he brought it up, I didn't know that we didn't, I thought at one time we filled up swimming pools. At one time we did that?
Before, I've been on since the mid-90s, and we haven't done it inside the city since then. They may have done
But
it
I
inside.
have heard that that the fire departments fill up swimming pools, maybe not here, but somewhere.
I do
Sure,
know that,
somewhere,
I do
not
know
here.
that in some instances, some other not here, but
Okay.
other communities, yes.
So currently, we are
I
not
feel
providing.
like
Currently, we're not providing any services to residents and constituents to distribute water at a high volume to any used,
necessity.
like a pool, like a. We're not currently doing that for anything
What
right now, right?
happens- What happens, because that's not an emergency situation, we actually, LAWCO, they contact LAWCO about their meter. LAWCO comes to me, and we have this surplus hose that we surplused over the years that's no longer good for fire. They borrow our hose, they sign it out. LAWCO's guys go do just what we doing, they're gonna drop that hose in their pool and they're gonna fill it. That's a non-emergency situation. Now, if it's, more expedient, in the case of these aqua dams, we'll do it. If they want to fill them early enough, if LAWCO is willing, I'll give them the same hose. They can hook up the same meter, and we don't have to be involved, at all.
So the question for me is, and the answer I'm trying to get, is that it's expedient for you all to do it.
It is.
So it would be a service for our residents.
Oh, it would be.
So I would be in favor of that. Because again, if you can afford it, to buy it, to protect your home, and we're offering. We're not doing it for free.
No,
It's-
certainly not.
we're offering it as another service. I think I think it goes back to New Iberia on steroids. We helping people out. We're doing new things and good things.
Movie, chicken, and water. Thank you, Mama. Natalie, you had your hand up.
Yes. I have two parts. One, Dustin, totally get what you're saying. However, from what you said and what was initially presented, it's twofold for me, because what initially was presented was we got a call last minute to go fill someone's aqua dam. Last minute in an emergency
Not this time.
is totally different for me from a resident who takes preventative measures to protect their home. You know, preventative maintenance is a huge thing for me. I've said it for the past, I don't know, however long I've been here, 6 to 7 years. Government in Louisiana in general, they kill me sometimes with the fact that we don't do preventative maintenance until something goes wrong, and then we're like, oh, we gotta spend $500,000. You know, it's like, well, I mean, it's aggravating. I mean, if you don't change oil in your car, your engine's gonna blow up eventually. You know, so I'm fine with it as long as it is with advance notice. And my second part to that would be to ask Jeff, would this be an ordinance or anything we would have to pass as far as the rules, or the fire department can make up their own rules with their own rate sheet and we just stay out of it from that perspective?
Jeff?
I think the mayor and the chief could handle this
Okay.
unless the council wanted to have a policy to make some rules, which is why we're bringing it up.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessary to have the council weigh in on it, but we wanted the council to be aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel that we need to get involved, but let these people, these special people who we are providing to at the current moment, know that if a new mayor comes, it could all change at the drop of a dime. I mean, that's the truth, is it not?
Yeah, of course it is.
People had insurance canceled. Think about your aqua dam.
Deidre.
I would be in favor of us providing a service for residents who have an aqua dam to protect their homes. We know that here in New Iberia and in Iberia Parish in general, we have drainage problems. Pipes too small, you know, and we're not gonna change all the pipes, and certain areas we know flood all the time. In my district, on Easy Street is always an issue. So if somebody would want to protect their homes or their business, I'm definitely in favor of us providing a service if we can.
Thank you. Any further discussion? This is why I bring things. Look, everything I do, I bring here. We have, as a team, we discuss things that I don't think a mayor ever brought to a council, but I think that's what makes us, you know, legit. That's why we're working together.
All it's gonna take is one resident seeing one fire truck filling up one aqua dam to call one council member and be like, why on the planet Earth is the fire department that I pay for filling up this person's aqua dam? You know, and then it's like, it's better to just get it, air it out first.
That's my whole point.
You know,
That's
just
why
get
we're
it
here.
out, get it out the way.
That's why we're here.
I think it's out the way.
All right, Dan.
Good discussion. Thank you. Now we'll move on to councilman remarks, and Natalie Lopez, I'd like to hear from you.
I knew you were gonna take me first. I knew it. It's been a long time. No, I don't have any announcements or anything today, but I do want to add, Mayor, and I know you didn't do it on purpose, but on persons to address the council when Mr. Davis spoke after you didn't ask if we had questions or comments.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. But you know, it rang a little special place in my heart because, you know, all the public defender work that I've done. You know, I just want to thank them for doing that because it's just, you know, there's certain people who only choose to see the bad side of the system, and there are people who get out and go back in and get out and go back in, but there are also people who get out and change everything, and I've seen that happen to so many people, and it's been such an amazing thing to watch over the years, being involved in the criminal justice system here. And I think that it's great that people want to turn their lives around and get back involved and vote, because I tell you, there's a one thing that has blown my mind the most since I got elected. It's being in a random gas station buying a Coke and having someone recognize me and I don't know who they are, and I turn around and when I get back in my car I think to myself, looking at that person, I wouldn't have thought that they watched the meetings. But they do. But they do. So just because you don't hang out with a certain group of people, or you're not in Optimus or Kiwanis, doesn't mean that you don't care about this community and that you don't pay attention to the issues and vote. So that's just really important for me. So I want to thank them and their organization for what they're doing.
Thank you. Councilman Lewis.
Okay, Mayor, on next Thursday, the 25th, Heather, do you know the dates for the banquet for the,
It's the 25th of July.
It's, okay, on the 25th of July at Western Park, we having a banquet, and I say we, WECN, the Western Neighborhood Association, is having a banquet which culminates our events for this summer with the youth, with the camp that we partner with the city with, to give those kids something to do for the summer. It's going to be next Thursday at 6 o'clock, and I was asked to invite the council to attend. Next Thursday at 6 o'clock. It's a little banquet that's going to be put on by the kids. They're gonna have some food and I guess some entertainment possibly. From 6 to 8, July 25th. And concerning the storm, Dustin, thank you for that prayer. I think you touched everything for our constituents. I reached out earlier today because I had a lot of calls. I reached out to FEMA, and FEMA had me call 211. And I was told by FEMA that the president hasn't declared us a disaster area yet. And they sent me to a number locally, and I'm going to get those numbers out along with mine. One of them is Disaster Preparedness Ministry, and that number is 337-519-2109. That's Disaster Prepared Ministry, 337-519-2109. And the other is Crisis Cleanup Crew, and that's 844-965-1836. Crisis Cleanup Crew, 844-965-1836. And both of those open from 8 to 5. Their offices are in Lafayette, but they work, Iberia Parish is in their area. And what they do is they help, and I want to say they help people get trees out of their yard and branches out of their yard, and just general cleanup after a storm. And it's free. This is what they told me. So those are those numbers. And my number, as always, is 337-577-3448. And I'm also asking people in my district and everybody who calls me, be patient. This wasn't a bad storm, as Dustin alluded in his prayer. It wasn't a bad storm. We had some casualties. I mean, when I say casualties, we had some, casualties, not death, but casualties. We had some, minor casualties and trees and power lines going down. But I think we've been through Andrew, we've been through Hilda, we've been through some storms, and I think this was I looked at it as for us as a council. I looked at it for practice in case something big come through. So don't be alarmed. I know our teams was out there, Public Works, and I overheard you talking to Dan earlier, Parks and Recs. You had them cleaning drains. I mean, we want our job. So again, be patient, and my number is 337-577-3448, and I will try my best to direct you to some assistance. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Broussard.
Told you once, I'll tell you again, Mr. Mayor, thank you for that tree on Dale. Big monster tree all across the whole road. The next morning you had it all cut up and gone.
Thank Mr. Leroy for that.
Leroy, thank y'all. Had 6 houses with trees on them in my little district. 6 houses passed around with trees on the house. Electric wires tied up into the trees. we had a fast response. We made some phone calls. Within an hour or two, they come, got electricity at the house, and they cut the tree up, and it's almost gone already. So I want to thank all your departments. I know y'all worked hard. Our residents worked hard. They have my district is pretty cleaned up already. So we thank them for being steady and being patient.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Dahl.
Yeah, I want to, of course, thank the mayor, but I want to thank those department heads. You know, I know what they get paid, and I don't know if I would dedicate that kind of time. It's got to be love, or they bored at home. I don't know what it is, but for them to be here in City Hall, to stay here through here, I'm telling you, I was, and the mayor. I mean, it's like, I don't know. You just don't know. I experienced times before this. And on good times, it was bad. And this is bad times, it's good. So I want to applaud all y'all for doing that because it means a lot. And look, something else. Just because we have a franchise agreement with the CLECO, we do not control where they got power. And me and the mayor did not get power early because we were the mayor and mayor pro tem. He got power the last one. That's no joke. Is that not true?
Well,
it's
not-
true.
not last.
Everybody would call and say, when we getting power? So I know I'm sure you and the mayor got it. Well, I don't have it. Maybe he got it. I don't know. But he didn't have it. But honestly, we have no control of who gets power, when they get power. They do it where it's most efficient for their company to make it happen. And that's the fact. But, Mayor, I know we didn't get a lot of rain at one time, but I feel like if we would have did all right. Because that crews were out there cleaning those catch basins before the water came, not after. And that's a big deal. And it takes a lot of people and even the workers for the city. Not just the department heads, they were out there. I mean,
Definitely.
it's a big deal. It makes you proud to say that you're part of the leadership in New Iberia, even though we don't do nothing but fund them, but we want to make sure they have enough money. And too bad. I was thinking, I said, man, and my wife even said that because she's used to getting little bonuses, She said, y'all can't just give them a bonus. I said, we can't do that. I wish we could. I know the mayor would if he could. So thank y'all for all what y'all do for the city. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ledbetter.
Okay, Neighborhood Watch for District 4 is Thursday, day after tomorrow, at the Slyman, 6:00 p.m. I hope to have Scott Saunier, our Iberia Parish CAO, to come and speak to the group. And just because I said District 4, always everybody is invited. And if you live in Iberia Parish, please report your damages to Iberia Parish Government at 337-492-5451 between 8:30 and 4:30 p.m. Or you can email it to ipgohsep@iberiagov.net. There's a template to use for reporting necessary information, and they want you to attach 2 to 3 pictures of the damage if possible. If you're calling it in, be prepared to answer the questions: your name, physical address, phone number, city, state, zip. Do you have flood insurance? Do you have insurance for your damages? What type of structure was damaged? If you had flooding, how deep was the water? How many people live in your house? This information is needed as soon as possible to report to FEMA. God did bless our parish, and he protected us from Hurricane Barry. It could have been a lot worse than it was. I put a prayer on my Facebook page because I always said, remember, you have to be prayed up. So I put this particular prayer on my Facebook page prior to the storm. And it's the prayer for shelter against the storm. And it's from Reverend Thomas L. Wetzel. God of heaven and earth, God who carries our lives and the lives of our whole community in your hands, be with us in the peril of this day. Help us to release our anxieties and fears into those same caring hands, knowing in faith that your will for us is life and everlasting good. Send your holy angels to watch over us and guard us. May they spread their holy wings to give us shelter against the storm. For you alone, O God, are all good, all life, all love, and that love is for us through Jesus Christ our Lord. We will, of course, possibly have other storms. Prayers on my Facebook page. Pray daily. And that's all I have.
Councilman.
Yeah, I pretty much want to ditto pretty much what everybody else said tonight. As I sat there on my porch and listened to Barry first making his way in and transformers popping and lights going out, I was literally proud of the work that was being put in of the city. Even when I went to drive around, as soon as that storm passed through, those crews were out there cutting those trees up, get them off the lines, whatever they had to do. Gordon's, I was, ecstatic of seeing Gordon's out there so quick, really getting all that done. So I want to thank everybody that had a hand in to doing it, because it really, seeing that happen was actually, it was grateful to see all that taking place. And yeah, they did have a lot of people without power for a long extended amount of time. I was one of them. But at the same time, we're also blessed that no one was seriously hurt, injured, so no deaths. So that was grateful. And I just want to thank you, Mayor, for really leading it the way you led it prior to be, like we talked about, being preventive, taking measures early, and all those things. Like I said, cleaning the drains out early before waiting after the fact. So I think everyone did a great job with that, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna give y'all some Barry facts. I watched. I rode around with Gordon in the high water truck that we got from the state, and one of the best things we ever did. When we need a rescue, the fire department now doesn't put a $500,000 unit out in the street or a $300,000 piece of equipment. We bought a truck, a used Stevenson truck that was a military truck, and riding around with Gordon 2 or 3 times, just checking the town out, making sure that we were ready. Our policemen, I watched them work 18-hour shifts. We covered the town like never before. We had double people out there. We did not have one. We had a complete blackout of the city, which is very rare. We didn't have one business burglary, one residential burglary, one violent crime during that entire episode, because we had the streets blanketed, and these guys did a great job, and it was a pleasure to watch those people work 18 hours, sleep for a few hours, and get up and do it again. Public Works was out early, days and days ahead, cleaning drains, getting ready. We got the parks to come and assist. They helped clean drains. First thing they did before that, Heather had people on the roof cleaning the gutters, cleaning everything in the parks, getting all the stuff locked down. We didn't lose stuff because we were preventative. But watching all of these, Vince and them were out till 12 one night and 10 or 11 the next, during the storm and after the storm, because when you lose complete power, I've got 67 pump stations plus the main sewer plant plus a big junction at McElhenney. None of that works when you don't have power. We have backup generators, but it is a chore to move those generators around. Not everything works as you think it's going to, but watching every department pull together. And, we had an organizational meeting. We have our own hurricane plan. We implemented it. We got going with everything, early. It was a pleasure to be, the days were long, but I can tell you that I'm always proud to be the mayor, and I've been blessed with this job, and it's a blast. But it was a storm. It wasn't supposed to be fun. I'm not saying it was fun, but it was enjoyable to watch the machine run. To see my staff here on the weekend answering calls, everybody pulled together and, made this thing happen. It's not one person, it's a team. But it starts with us, you as the budgetary, and y'all are more than budgetary. Y'all are part of the team. The ideas I get from y'all, the discussions we have, the things that, you bring me, because yes, your function is here to vote. It takes 4 votes to do anything. But I'm blessed to have a council that is very active and that is involved in every part of government. And that's part of what, your leadership is what helps to make this, make the machine run. That's kind of all I have tonight. And our next meeting is August the 6th. And Civic Source, wonderful pieces of property for sale. Check them out. good deals out there, and I'll ask for some motions to adjourn. Motion. Thank you.